How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Justin. You've seen the thumbnail, you've seen the title, and by this point, I feel like every other content creator has talked about it. It's mainly about the CoryxKenshin YouTube age restriction thing that went down this past week. But I've watched Low and Agent here on the Playback channel, seen a number of their videos, and I think they have a measured opinion when it comes to these kind of things. So let's jump into it, see what they think, and as always, I'm going to be kind of dropping my thoughts along the way. Let's do it.
Twitch and YouTube recently has been under fire for inconsistencies in the way they enforce their TOS, and it's kind of grown from there. We've been waiting to see if they would comment on the situation. Neither platform has said anything yet, but it all started with CoryxKenshin dropping a video on YouTube.
Facts. YouTube, you guys either play favorites, you are racist, or it's a mix of the two. These are the three options, YouTube. Which one is it? Here's my proof. I've been doing YouTube a long time, okay? I never want to be that guy, oh, it's because I'm black. Oh, these issues are happening because I'm black. This is the situation. August 18th, I uploaded the mortuary assistant. A lot of you would know it got age restricted because the following video I did, I let you guys know it got age restricted. YouTube didn't tell me why. I saw that all these other YouTubers were playing the mortuary assistant and only the first thing I did was try to find other YouTubers who had that part or at least a part similar. Now, Markiplier, I don't know if you'll ever see this, but I just want you to know I have a lot of respect for you and I didn't mean to drag you into the middle of this. So I go to Markiplier's mortuary assistant part 3 and he had the same situation going on and his video wasn't age restricted. So I send the video to my YouTube rep. I say, hey, Markiplier has this situation in his video, but his isn't age restricted. Could you send that to the policy team and see what they say about that? He said, wow, Corey, that's some astute detective work. Let me send this to them and see what they say. What do you think happened after that?
Okay, so I'm not trying to play this up for any sort of comedic effect. I actually have watched a content creator talk about this before, and the only reason I'm making a video is because I feel like I was sitting around my place today and I saw one more content creator put out a video today, and I just kind of thought, all right, not that I need to throw my opinion out there, but I was just like, all right, I feel like everybody's talked about this. I need to see truly what's going on here. So I already watched someone react to this whole video, and I know that his video gets de-age restricted, and then they end up age restricting Mark's video down the road. But
I'll give you a second. They came back and they removed my age restriction. They took it off after they already rejected my appeal.
The next day, somebody was having sex live on Twitch. I know this sounds crazy to say a lot, but somebody was doing that, and they got a 7-day ban, which prompted JiDion to get all up and rowdy because he received a ban for hate rating Pokemon.
Girl has sexual relations live on stream. I couldn't believe it. You could
wait, hold on.
Girl,
a Twitch streamer decided, okay, to have while on stream. She has since been banned on both her Twitch accounts. We've officially seen. Oh wow! Listen. This isn't anything major. I have to look into that later. That's real. 7 days.
has sexual relations live on stream. I couldn't believe it. You could actually see everything that was happening. So I quote tweeted it and I said, and I'm still banned. A little jab at Twitch, but a joke nonetheless. Sure. I was like, they at least had to give her a month to a permaban. I mean, this is huge. That's basically showing corn, I said corn, to underage kids, right?
Okay.
That's Twitch doing that. So I'm going on with my stream, my chat spamming, yo, she's live on TikTok, she's live on TikTok, she's live on TikTok. So I join in her TikTok live. Then I ask her the $1 million question. I know why, but like, how long are you banned for?
7 days.
What? 7 days. She was banned for 7 days. Showing corn to literally children.
The conversation's been ongoing.
Okay, so I gotta drop my opinions along the way here. I'm gonna say, and I'm sure they'll get back to the CoryxKenshin stuff in a bit, but I'm gonna say this early enough. I don't necessarily think it's a whole racist thing like Twitch or YouTube has it against black people specifically. I just don't think it looks that way to me yet. Maybe something will come out with this video, you know, in Playback's video. What it very clearly is, and you could probably lump this into a racist perspective, is favoritism. And as someone who just recently started making videos on commentary pieces like this, I'm looking at Agent's face right now. Yeah, I mean, we all know that they play favoritism, and this thing with at least female or women streamers on Twitch. That's been a tale as old as time that I feel like I've seen reports of. So as far as favoritism goes, that's 100% happening, you know, and a lot of it has to do with the business side of things. But yeah, favoritism, 100%.
JiDion is even on Twitter right now showing other examples of inconsistencies with how Twitch is like really exercising their TOS or determining how they're gonna hit people with bans. In terms of Twitch, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. FYI, cat's out of bag. This has been a problem with Twitch for quite some time. I think a lot of people have expressed themselves in that capacity. And it is unfortunate. It seems as if like there is either a level of inconsistency on how they deal with their bans, or B, it's almost as if like, and this is just from a creator on the platform myself, it feels as if like they are more accepting and willing of certain aspects of that is blatant, like not even like we can't even like petty fog around it. Very clearly going against the guidelines, and they're not okay with other aspects. Now, again,
It's favoritism, and I know I'm pausing a lot here. It's favoritism. I mean, that's the word. You can use the word expose, you can use the word racist, you can use the word inconsistent. The word is favoritism. That's 100%. I mean, and the thing that I think, I don't know if Agent will talk about this, but I think in a lot of their content, you kind of hear this come up. At least I feel like I hear this come up, which is that there's a version, an air of nepotism in a lot of things in the world, right? And favoritism, right? I'm sure you watching this video, if you owned a company and your best friend or maybe your high school buddy or your college friend, whatever age it is, if they hit you up for a job, they're going to have an easier time getting a job than, let's say, some rando off the street that has a good resume or whatever the case may be. There are benefits, I'll say it that way, to knowing somebody and to being in a certain clique and group. And so whether it's Markiplier as it relates to the CoryxKenshin part of things, or it's, you know, women streamers, or it's Pokimane, or whoever it happens to be, there are instances where it is better from a business perspective and from an optics perspective to keep somebody in a particular good grace, no matter almost what they do. I mean, outside of maybe like, you know, doing some serious harm to people, but that's what it seems like. And I don't necessarily know if I would call that exposing. I don't know if I'd call that inconsistent. I would just say it's favoritism.
I'm a man of consistency. If you feel like I broke the TOS, I can understand what, you know, repercussions that come behind it. But we are talking about different leveling of, you know, criticism and bans to the extent of one person being perma-banned and the other person only having a 7-day ban. I think is a bit extreme. There are other examples as well. Unfortunately, guys, we can't show it, dog. It's a little bit extreme. We cannot show it on YouTube, or Susan will be pissed, dog. So I think that's what the biggest problem though, is that it's just inconsistent. And I think a lot of people are upset, a lot of people are frustrated. A lot of people feel as if like they're also being marginalized in the process as well. And I think from Twitch and YouTube, if anything, like I don't think that it's that ridiculous for people to ask for some form of consistency, and also ask for their voice to be more heard and understood when these complaints are being raised. And I think that's a very realistic explanation and expectation from both sides, quite honestly.
The problem that's happening here, first of all, let's settle the fact that these are private companies.
Yes.
Well, I guess they're public, but like, we don't own these companies, right? They could have their own TOS and their own rules, and they could enforce them however they see fit. The only problem is both Twitch and YouTube have like these black equity programs, and they speak a lot about diversity. But then you can't do that, claim to be equal, and then treat people unequally. So there's the disconnect. If you want to say like we're unequal, we're gonna enforce our TOS however we want, then do that. But there's so much secrecy on how Twitch handles their bans, and I got a little bit of insight in a video I watched a while ago from Devin Nash, where he was explaining there's actually a committee of people that are anonymous to everybody else in Twitch that make the decisions, and Twitch doesn't have authority over the decisions. So this group works independently.
I feel like I think I watched that video by Devin Nash, and I think that off the top of my head, and maybe I didn't understand it entirely, but that's kind of a good thing. Or if not a good thing, I guess good on paper, right? I guess maybe the idea is supposed to be that you want to have a group of people that aren't as connected to the social media, Twitch, YouTube, content creator world. That way you're making policies and procedures that kind of can blanket hit everyone the same. And something that they mentioned a bit earlier is obviously they want, you know, there to be more communication. I don't think these companies have the resources to pull that off. I don't think that they're, you know, being absent from communicating simply because they're unaware of it. I think it's just they don't have the resources to address these on a case-by-case basis, or even when it comes to the big content creators on a case-by-case basis.
goal is for them to not be influenced by any third party. So they're making decisions. They base their decisions, they say, off of context, and they also even include intention, which is interesting because it's difficult to gauge somebody's intention.
Yes, it is.
Right? But they also base it off remorse. So if you make a mistake, but then you show remorse and apologize for it, they'll factor that into your ban as well. There's no real way to.
But this is the problem that everybody, and for people who don't know, like, because I'm even on Twitter right now with the whole other situation. It's just about consistency. This is the problem that we had before, where it's like, who is making these decisions? Like, who is? I didn't even know it was a whole committee. Who is making the decisions to determine what is and what isn't right on these platforms? Especially when, again, you have guidelines and everybody else is trying to abide by them as much as possible. Again, bro, if you have guidelines, that's fine. But you telling me potentially a part of my, if not my whole livelihood, is based off of just some random anonymous people, and they get to dictate as they choose how they levying this. I think that's crazy.
But you know what the wildest
really
part
crazy.
is? There's no objective way to do this.
It's not crazy.
Each situation has its own context.
No, for
it's
sure.
It's like the NFL. Like, it's impossible to give the best verdict every single time.
For sure.
But you at least have to make it look like you're trying. Because if I'm scrolling on Twitter and there's a dick, I'm getting banned for at least 3 to 7 days.
Yes.
So how on earth can someone getting fucked on Twitch only receive a 7-day ban?
That's
that
crazy.
doesn't make any sense. That makes zero fucking sense whatsoever. So it's just a matter of having consistency. The conversation's grown from there. The question is really, there's a thriving community on Twitch.
Yeah.
The W or L community, call it whatever you want to, of content creators that are dominating the platform.
Dominating.
The Kai Cenats, the Adam Rosses, the Bruces, and the Rages, and all the people that never get acknowledged.
Never.
Kai just hit 60K on Twitch. He hasn't gotten acknowledged once by the platform. So it's like you're talking about equality, but you're not showing any acknowledgement or recognition to the people that are helping build the platform. We all understand that on YouTube, like, you have a little bit more control over what you show, right?
Yeah.
But on Twitch, at any point, something can happen in the background that I didn't have much control over.
Yes.
So streamers know to try and control their environments as much as possible. But it's not always possible. Sometimes you could be scrolling, a mod missed something, and now something's on the screen that shouldn't have been on the screen. Everybody knows you're deserving of a ban.
Yes.
But it's the way you enforce it, how you choose to enforce it, and more importantly, who you choose to really enforce it to. The whole situation just screams inconsistency. You could see why a lot of people are upset, but more importantly, they're not saying it.
I don't necessarily know if I like that word. I know I've paused it a handful of times on that word, inconsistent. I mean, it does seem that way. I can see why people would say that, right? Inconsistent to me sounds more like there is no rule, or it's completely arbitrary, or it's tribal knowledge, like close your eyes and just pick a random streamer or content creator and then just give them the most extreme while somebody doesn't get it. That sounds like inconsistency, which I guess is kind of what it seems like is happening. But I mean, and we're splitting hairs if I say favoritism versus inconsistent. I think they're saying inconsistent in an effort to kind of say there should be a consistent, like, level of strike or level of penalty or consequence that hits every single person. But to me, it's like, well, if these guys were my buddies and they're doing something and I'm on the policy team and I'm in control of whether or not I'm going to give them a strike, maybe I give them a lesser strike, just because I know them, which also feeds into what they're talking about, where it's like, we need to know who they are, or it sucks that this policy team of which no one knows anything about can determine, at the drop of a hat, whether or not you're going to get a strike or whether or not your livelihood's just going to, go away tomorrow. Even something like the Ackman situation, which I won't delve into at length in this video, kind of felt like that, with something where the whole internet kind of felt like they rallied behind, like, this is so weird. And it seemed like YouTube in that instance was playing favoritism for one content creator over another, so.
Anything.
I think that's really.
They're not saying anything.
I think that's the problem that I think a lot of people have, is that it's not even like really us as a community trying to like stronghold them. It's just that we would legitimately want to know as content creators, what do we do, what is right or wrong, so we can understand. Because even if you as Twitch or YouTube, and I think YouTube has done slightly better over the years trying to further explain themselves, and I think they have way more resources to do so. Like, I think they do. But in terms of Twitch, it's really, we just want to know. Like, I want to know, so not only am I not at fault, but I don't even want to give you a reason to ban me for any amount of days, really. So I just want to know. Me not knowing and me just on the whim doing something legitimately, maybe by accident, or doing something with me not thoroughly understanding or comprehending some of the TOS, it's crazy. Bro, like, when I first started streaming, bro, I did something where I was like, okay, I had to now delete the VOD. I had to take a time out to read the TOS, thoroughly understand what I'm doing, and then even inform myself and educate myself on all the other people that may have gotten banned, off of things that I might potentially do, just so I can then go about making sure that doesn't happen to me as well, even if it wasn't expounded in the TOS. So it's like I'm gauging off of what I can or can't do, really based off of what happened to everybody else.
I agree. I didn't even know.
I've done that.
Obviously, you know not to send people to someone's chat being hateful, just out of the goodness of your heart.
Yeah.
But when JiDion sent the hate raid to Pokimane, I genuinely didn't know that was a bannable offense.
Yeah.
So I learned. I think a lot of other people learned too.
Yes.
And I took it upon myself.
I would say, as far as the JiDion thing, so I want to weigh in on that now. I mean, if you didn't know it was a bannable offense, okay, you know, I think it makes sense. But permanent ban? Listen, I'm not like a huge JiDion fan. I don't watch his content. I've only seen him kind of pop up because of these controversies. But to think that you got permanently banned first time, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but the first offense and you get permanently banned for that, that's why I was so surprised that then you turn around and it's like, oh, this person's having sex on stream. I guess I said it. But somebody's, you know, doing that on stream and they get 7 days. It's like, oh, I can see why it was like that's so rough.
Learn
I can
all
see
that
it.
is against Twitch TOS, because JiDion was a new streamer to Twitch.
Yes.
So it's like there's some things that's gonna go under the radar. So him not knowing, doing something, receiving a ban, okay, but they extended the ban into a permanent. But all of it just doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't.
And when the hashtag Twitch Respond goes viral, really that's all anybody wants is a response.
Yes.
Any sort of acknowledgement. There's the fastest growing community on the platform. It's just nobody's being recognized, acknowledged. Nobody feels considered or heard. And it's like these are their livelihood. I'm on Twitch too. This is our livelihood. This is our livelihood. We make money. Our business is on this platform. So when we're saying like, yo, bro, we want to be heard by this platform, but then they'll go on Twitter and talk about some equity program they have going on. But then no one's being heard though. Nobody's being heard through the process of all of this. No one's asking for any sort of special treatment. People are just asking for some consistency in a response.
That's literally it.
That's all it is, man.
And what's even worse is that, especially coming from the community, it feels like there's a massive disconnect, even though there shouldn't be. Because a lot of the things in which it's so crazy, because I was watching JiDion, Kai stuff, and I'm like, bro, a lot of stuff they doing, it ain't like a bunch of other creators weren't doing this a few months or weeks or years ago and were being congratulated for it. You can definitely argue times have changed, we've progressed, but I would still even argue a lot of things that Kai and JiDion do are tamed version of those things. So to sit here and to just ignore them, it's pretty crazy. And I'll even say, I think even communities at odds with one another on Twitch is a bit crazy, bro. And I think it's very weird the way that we even speak about it, even though we're on the same platform. And more importantly, the community is growing at an exponential rate. To continue to ignore it, to continue to exclude, to continue to act as if like it's not even happening, bro.
Well, I want to say something about this, and I feel like I've mentioned this almost every single time I do some sort of content video about businesses, which is like they will do something when it affects their business. You know, and it's funny that, you know, both Agent and Low kind of just talked about this, but like I'm sure that they understand that, and maybe they're not seeing it right now, but that's just the way businesses operate. You know, they'll do something when, and there's this acronym, and I forget what it's called, so I can't go into at length, but there's this thing that I remember hearing about when it came to business, where the reason why they do respond to certain controversies is because there's like a certain threshold that they feel a controversy might affect their business, and if that like percentage is too high, then they're going to be like, okay, now we're going to like address this and like, you know, acknowledge it, because if we don't, it could potentially lead to it being worse for us than if we just ignore it. But I think, you know, and I don't know if they're going to come back to the CoryxKenshin things. I kind of thought that was what this video was going to be about mostly. But yeah, I mean, it sucks that these people feel like, you know, their livelihoods could go up in smokes, you know, at the drop of a hat. It sucks that like people feel like, you know, this person gets treated differently than me, even though it's supposed to be even and equal across the board. It does. But the business that you are running your business off of, you know, Agent here, they're going to care when it affects them, just like you're going to care when it affects you. So until Twitch or YouTube feels like it's going to affect them in any sort of financial way, they're going to, it's just status quo. I really do. I want to keep watching this though, because I want to see if they come back to the CoryxKenshin thing, because so far, and I'm kind of like thumbs up on this, they're not playing the race card. You know, they're not saying, I mean, maybe they will, I haven't finished it, but they haven't gone there yet. And that was something I was kind of hoping might not be the case, or that would be the case in watching this video.
Act like it's not even happening is absurd. It's crazy, bro. It's even with the whole Jake Lucky or Jake, whatever his name is, the fact that people have to strong arm him into saying things about our community that's weird.
You know
That
what I
is
think it is?
weird.
You know what I think it is? I think it's like Twitch has a culture, and I love Twitch culture. As more people that are foreign to Twitch culture join, the culture is gonna undoubtedly change.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
Dude in the back.
always gonna happen. If you add a lot of one specific type of people or a group of people or people that think the same, the culture's gonna change a little bit. So it almost feels as though like,
But the
let's not
culture is-
acknowledge them because we don't want things to change. We like things the way they are
But
right now.
that's the thing. The culture is changing undeniable. If you want to say that, it's changing in more favor.
Because
of
for it
us.
to grow,
Yes.
the culture like it can't
It's
stay
going,
the same.
it's going to have to change. So all we're just saying is like just acknowledge the fact that it's changing, it's growing, and who are the figures that are changing and growing it and who are influencing
Because
it.
do you remember Twitch culture like 4 or 5 years ago?
Yes.
Bro, it's the most toxic. Bro, like people
way.
getting swatted
So,
left
but
and
I've
right.
seen those videos.
That's my problem. It's almost as if like we're being told the things that we're doing is just, oh, this is so horrible and da-da. It's like, bro, y'all grew up on that shit that was happening 4 or 5 years ago. Y'all are not going to sit here and act as if like, and I'm not
It's
even
not anywhere near.
not even close. Y'all grew up on that, and y'all know the change and how it's progressed to where it's at right now. It's so weird to me that some of the people who were applauded, some of the people who are okay with the things that happened 4 or 5 years ago, and things that y'all knew were wrong, now all of a sudden, man, y'all are toxic, but y'all are tripping. I'm just gonna completely ignore the shit that y'all doing. That is absurd to me, bro.
Yeah, objectively, you like JiDion, you don't like. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Phantom.
Thanks, man.
We're a big fan of you too. man.
Another person of color who's killing the game right now on Twitch, man. We're talking about how you being treated unfair on Twitch, man. Hey, and even though Phantom is joking when he said his life, I think that there is a level of complacency when it comes to people of color.
Yeah, well, like, we just accept it.
We just accept that because, like, and to be honest with you, I don't know about you, but especially in America, as a black man in America, it's almost I'm just raised to know that this is going to happen, and I just have to like maneuver
Overcome it.
differently. You have to overcome it and maneuver, and for people out there who may not have grown and raised with that perspective, maybe that is like some insight to you. But yeah, a lot of people of color, we are being taught and conditioned to just know for a fact that we more than likely going to have to do more. I think a lot of times we become complacent and just come to the conclusion like, hey man, it is what it is. Like that's just what it is. That's
And
the reality.
it actually is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
But it's crazy when I think other people start to voice their opinions and they get heard much more sooner and quicker than we do, even in spaces that we have way more influence, way more control. We're dominating at an alarming rate and we still do not get heard. And I think that's where a lot of this is coming from, where people kind of just get sick and tired of being sick and tired, bro.
Yeah. And if you like JiDion, you don't like JiDion, it really doesn't matter. What he did deserved a suspension of some sort. If you think the hate raid where he eventually made up and is now good friends with the person it happened to, if you think that is a perma-bannable offense, then a lot of other rules have to change.
Ultimately, I just don't think that, just because he made up with the person that he was hate rating, JiDion, to Pokimane, it's going to be like the Twitch team is going to be like, oh, they made up? Let's reverse it. Like, no, it's like, let this be a lesson to all of you. Don't do this. And I think the fact that they're even talking about this so many weeks, if not months later, is a testament to the fact that, like, yeah, unfortunately, if you want to play the card, unfortunately, it did happen to a black person, but now don't do that. It's a kind of a message to everybody else.
Because it's not. We all know it's not. He didn't know about a situation. Of course, it doesn't mean he shouldn't deal with any consequences, but stop. I've seen people on the internet pretending like, permaban, of course, that's what he deserved.
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, on what planet is that the standard we hold for ourselves, that everybody has to be perfect? There's a reason why Twitch isn't like one strike and you're done. Yeah. Because they understand that people make mistakes.
Both platforms.
And so
really all platforms, really, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, every platform. Yeah. So it's like, bro, it's content at the end of the day. Like, you're exercising your creative freedom in ways that hopefully aren't harmful to anyone. But let's not pretend like there's other content on the fucking platform that isn't harmful to people, though.
On that note, man, all we ask for is some type of consistency. Free JiDion. Shout out to my young brother.
Okay. Well, I want to say real quick, just because this didn't eventually end up coming back to the CoryxKenshin thing, and that's what I kind of thought this was going to be, but it seemed like it was a little bit it leaned a little bit more on the CoryxKenshin side, or I'm sorry, the JiDion side. But as far as the CoryxKenshin, just my final thoughts on it. I said this a bit earlier. I don't necessarily think it is racist. I know that he kind of put up at the beginning of his video, it's either favoritism, racist, or a combination of the three. That's like the only things that it could be. I definitely think it's favoritism, and I do know that you know, from Moist Critical's video that we ended up kind of seeing that I think now there's this trend going on. I didn't really look into it, called it's like a trend about trying to get your video age restricted because Markiplier's video is age restricted, and then I think some other people were, Jacksepticeye also posted something similar. You know, I saw Asmongold talk about this. I saw Omni kind of bring this up. I think it came from a lot of other content creators. So like I said, I was going to kind of leave this one alone. Not that I needed to say anything about it, but ultimately I think my thought kind of became, well, I want to say something about this because I want to see, you know, from Playback, you know, I think they were a bit more measured. And it seemed to be, and hopefully I didn't misinterpret what they were kind of saying, but I like the fact that it kind of seemed like to me that they didn't necessarily say that, yeah, YouTube is racist. In fact, the title of their video is more talking about exposing, right? It's bringing to light something that does look to be inconsistent. But yeah, anyway, those are my thoughts. And, you know, seems like a weird tangent to kind of end it on, but if you want to check out more of my content, I live stream games on Twitch. Hopefully I don't get banned. Or you can check out my other reaction commentary videos on my channel. Until next time, peace.